Our first target for this workshop will be to create a foundation for collaboration. When co-teaching, you are also collaborating. Yes, you are delivering lessons together, but the preparation for those lessons requires a lot of collaboration. And collaboration is not easy. It takes commitment, intent, and a lot of time to plan effectively. This video will go through the steps necessary to create a foundation for collaboration from an ENL teacher's perspective. As an ENL teacher, entering a content teacher's classroom can be overwhelming and intimidating. As a result, we might feel that it is easier to just go in and keep a low profile while only helping the ENL students on our caseloads. However, this is not co-teaching, and it really does not benefit the students in the classroom. Instead, it is important to establish a presence. This process actually starts with the presence you have school-wide. It is crucial that your staff members are aware of the students you serve as well as the day-to-day activities you do each day. I have found that the best way to establish yourself as a credible teacher and to make your students top of mind for all staff members is to talk to your staff at the beginning of the year. If you have a very large ENL caseload or think that a presentation would only be applicable to a single grade level, you could present to grade level teams instead. However, the more staff members that are aware of your numbers, schedules, and needs, the better. The presentation starts a conversation between you and other content teachers, which is truly the basis for great collaboration. The presentation shouldn't take too long, 15 to 20 minutes tops, and it should consist of the following items. The first thing you should do is explain what you do. Some teachers are still unclear on what ENL teachers actually do. Share with them how you identify students, how you assess them, and how you teach them. You could also share your schedule. ENL teachers have crazy schedules. Take a screenshot of it or provide a copy of your schedule for your staff during the presentation so that they are aware of how hard you work and they also have an idea of times that would work for you to collaborate. Content and classroom teachers are used to being in their classrooms all day and might not know what an ENL teacher's day looks like, so show them. You should also provide a list of supports. Every year, make sure to remind teachers of the supports that they should be using in their classrooms to help ENL students. Supports include things like visuals, partners, groupings, etc. You should also use this time to share language levels. It is crucial that any teacher that teaches an ENL student is aware of the student's level and their expected performance based on that level. If you have a large caseload, you can present the information in a pie chart with a breakdown of your total numbers or levels and share individual levels with individual teachers. Make sure you also provide them with a guide for how to grade or assess students at various levels. You should also consider providing information on the backgrounds of your students. If there are important aspects of a student's background that teachers should be aware of, especially things like former schooling, possible barriers to learning, or cultural differences, make sure your staff is aware. This is especially crucial for newcomers. Content teachers can be uncomfortable when a student from another country comes into their classroom. Support them by giving them a newcomer profile ahead of time that provides beneficial background information. This helps both the student and teachers feel more comfortable. Finally, you should use this presentation to ask for help. Use the time in front of staff to ask for their help with things they can actually help you with. This might be help with content standards or curriculum. Or maybe you are asking for interest in helping with class activities, or even recommendations for possible student helpers when a newcomer comes. Whatever is applicable to your setting, make sure you think hard about what you could actually ask staff to do, and make sure to include this information in your presentation. Remember that this may be the only time you have all ears listening to you, so be thoughtful and intentional with what you want them to hear or see. I'm going to go over an example of an ENL overview presentation. Here is an example of a school-wide presentation that I have presented to staff. First, I provide them a copy of my schedule. This is just a screenshot of my schedule, and I might go through possible times where I could meet and help teachers. Then I also give them a list of supports. I show them my current numbers. Here's a breakdown of all the levels I serve. I remind them of the proficiency standards and what levels each of my students are at. If I have a low number on my caseload or I'm presenting to a few teachers or grade level teams, I sometimes place the students' pictures all along these levels to show where they fall. It helps teachers visually see where each student lies. I provide any information on newcomers via a newcomer template or profile. I remind them of annual testing that occurs in the spring for us. And I remind them that I'm testing them for listening, speaking, reading, and writing. I go over the standards that I use to teach my ENL students. I remind them how to assess each student and each level. And then I always ask for help. So in this case, I needed help finding student mentors and interpreters. This is an example. You certainly should be making this your own and applying the needs from your setting to the presentation. After you have established a school-wide presence, it is now time to establish a presence within your content teacher's classroom. It is common to hear that ENL teachers take on more of an assistant role when they are co-teaching. Many times the content teacher struggles to let go of control or doesn't see the ENL teacher as being an actual teacher. That mentality ends here because you are going to end it. Have confidence in yourself and in your abilities. ENL teachers are teachers and usually our strongest teachers because they teach several content areas while differentiating and working with families. Have confidence and take a leading role in that classroom. There are ways to show your value in the relationship, and that is by being an expert on all things ENL. ENL teachers know a lot about their students. Share what you know about their levels, personalities, interests, etc. so the content teacher can see how beneficial you are to the classroom. Also, create and share bilingual Common Core progressions with your content teachers for major assignments. Content teachers are always looking for ways to accurately assess and grade their English learners. Performance indicators provide them with a tool that they can look at and have to better set expectations for student performance. Without this, the content teacher is just taking your word. It is a lot of work, but it is worth it. Start with your major assignments and go from there. Here's an example of a 6th grade New Language Arts progression. The full progression, along with other content areas and grade level progressions, can be found on the Engage NY website. Beyond being an expert on your students and their levels, ENL teachers can establish a presence by differentiating materials, offering teaching strategies, providing a new perspective, and assistance with L1 resources. ENL teachers have experience with being creative with how they help students achieve a standard or task. Don't be afraid to show that. Your content teacher has most likely done similar lessons year after year. Break that cycle. Your co-teacher and your students will benefit from a new way of thinking about a topic. I like to always tell ENL teachers, your content teacher is just casting a net. You are in there to make sure all of the fish or students swim into that net. Show them what you can do and prove to them that ENL teachers are actual teachers. Take a minute to think about your setting. What can you offer? How will you establish your presence, both school-wide and within your content teacher's classroom? Take a second to record your thoughts on the note sheet. Pause to do this. Press play when you're ready to move on. We hope this video has given you some ideas and concrete things you can walk away with and apply to your setting. Remember, establish the presence and make sure that you are useful to your co-taught classroom.